I think it's very difficult to get a herd animal to feel comfortable being on his own.
Yeah.
I always think if I can get that horse to a stage where he's not going to hurt himself, then I almost have to accept that it's going to worry him. What I would say is that I would like it if, when he was around me, he was getting some of that comfort that he's obviously seeking from the herd. I don't, all mine would get worried if you left them on their own. They'd run around screaming. They wouldn't like that because they're herd animals and they feel vulnerable and insecure. But equally, all of mine, when I'm with them, would be okay. And I think that's the key. I think also if you prepare your horse and get them, do a lot of training with them, they tend to be able to cope better when they are stressed. And I think that goes back to what I was saying at the start about, I think almost the best case scenario really is getting them to a point where they're not going to hurt themselves or get into too much trouble.
Yeah, I agree, and that's a tough thing to do, to try and get a horse comfortable on their own, because like I said, it kind of goes against their nature. As far as things that I found that work, I've never tried the mirror thing, that might work, but I'll ride, if you have the ability to ride your horse around other horses, I found that to be helpful. And what I mean by that is, the horse wants to be with other horses, so you can actually work your horse and get it used to working so that it works when it's with the horses and it works less when it moves away from those horses. Whether the horses are against the fence and you can kind of ride along the fence and work on collection, or something that's a little bit more challenging for the horse, and then give it relief kind of as you go away. And I don't know that that's an outright fix, but I've had a couple horses that seemed to help them. It didn't take it all away, but they got more comfortable or less dependent on those horses because they had a lot of experience where the horses were not in fact a source of comfort. The horses become a source of, I don't want to say discomfort, but it isn't that same comfort as I have to be with the herd. And going with what Guy said, it does teach them to trust you more, and I think that makes it easier to have confidence within themselves. But that can be a tough thing to do, because the more you want to isolate them, generally the worse it gets. If you hobble them by themselves and leave them tied up by themselves, I think they can get hurt. You happy with that answer?
Ecstatic.
Okay.